You're about to have major awakening because Neptune just stationed and is about to go retrograde until the end of the year. That means a lot of illusions, a lot of deception, a lot of lies, and even some sort of dreams that you were having and that were directly related to you now about to hit you through reality. This is the reading for your rising sign, so make sure to check that out first. Aries, so since the beginning of this year, Neptune has been going through your first house. Neptune just entered Aries for a very, for the first time in a very, very long time. And for a lot of you, it could have been really awakening of some sort of creative skills. It could have been having more sensitivity and feeling things that you don't necessarily see through your dreams, through your intuition, through some sort of psychic abilities, and maybe even became a little bit more beautiful, more magnetic, more spiritually awakened, and soft in some sort of ways. But at the same time, Neptune going through your ascendant could really give you some more lies and deceptions when it comes to yourself, and even more of victimhood that you could have been feeling, more the feeling of like world is not necessarily the most fair place to you and what you do. It's really about like you looking through the lens of this like deceptive glasses that don't bring any more reality to you, and quite the opposite. They almost like make you high, make you drunk in a sense when you don't really know what's happening. So when Neptune is going to go retrograde, it's going to give you a little bit of throwback into what has been happening since the beginning of this year, in a sense that you will be wondering, oh, was I delusional about my decisions that I did, from January until July? Was I really delusional? Was it something where I was not necessarily right? Was it something where I lost touch with reality? And when it comes to you, were you a little bit too victimized by your own deception, by your own illusion, by your own intuition? Was it something that has been stopping you to move forward and, you know, um, something that has brought like more lies into your life? And you will be seeing through a lot of lies, you will be seeing through a lot of deceptions that you've been having with yourself, but also what people have been putting onto you. Taurus, you having actually the most delusional transit, because while Neptune is going through your 12th house, it's really working on subconscious level with the things that you don't see. It could be some sort of fears that you have for no reason. It could be some sort of even like feeling a little bit not confident with what you do, and intrusive thoughts, feeling of illusion of being the loneliest person in the world, and maybe like necessity to be really like the hermit archetype and isolate yourself and not necessarily be open to the world. Like when something is like, it's almost like living in a constant fog when you don't know where you're going, you know what to do. Your subconsciousness is kind of like stopping you for some reason. You start having those like symptoms that you never had, that almost like stopping you and preventing you from doing your own plans. But at the same time, it could be played out as really big interest to mysticism and maybe like medicine and esoterics and some sort of spiritual practices and belief into something that you have not been connecting on a physical level yet, but it's something that you're connecting with on a spiritual level. So it's really a time of delusions. It's really the time of deceptions. And when Neptune is going retrograde, it's almost like hitting you with the realization. It's almost like, imagine you getting out of the prison for a second to see what has been really going on in the prison. I mean, the prison of your illusion. So when this Neptune will be retrograde, it's almost like you will be given a little break to really see where have you been a little bit too delusional with yourself. Where have you been just like creating more lies that you need to, creating more deceptions that you needed to, creating more even giving a lot of meanings and sense to the things that it's not that deep. And it will be the moment when you will look into your life and say, hey, it's not that deep. Maybe if something is not working out, maybe it's literally like me not being working hard enough, rather than thinking that God has stopping me and preventing me from going into one of those directions. It's going to be a lot of your delusions and deceptions is really finding more practical outcome and becoming less elusive to you. Geminis, a lot of you could have recently been experiencing a lot of problems and delusions and illusions when it comes to your friends, your friend groups, your companionships, and people who are supposed to be there to support you. And maybe you were not necessarily 100% sure if the people around you are the true friends or not true friends, because the Neptune, when it goes through your area of friendship, it's kind of giving a little bit of illusions, like, are people around you really the ones who they claim to be? And you might actually feel like it's kind of like you have a lot of friends, but at the same time you're very lonely, but at the same time you have nobody to rely on, but at the same time, no, like you go out with people, and it's giving like so much confusion, giving so much illusion and deceptive feelings when it comes to your friends and people you hang out to. It also could be the fact that you don't know whether these people are your friends, or maybe you have some sort of feelings towards them, or maybe you're just like all over the place when it comes to your friends. And this is what Neptune is really bringing here. And maybe you also have been friends with somebody who has been using you. And what could really come to the truth with this Neptune retrograde is that, imagine like for a second you getting out of the prison of your own illusions, and you actually can see things clearly. You can actually rely on yourself more clearly, and you see that, oh, this person that I've been friends with, I was actually being used, and they were friends with me only because of some sort of benefits. And it's something that is going to really come out to the surface. And yeah, for a second you will be able to get out of this, like, prison of illusions, in order to see for real who are your friends, who are not your friends, and where you really need to be more, like, keeping your eyes open when you sleep, in a sense. But this Neptune retrograde could also ruin a lot of friendships that didn't really have anything behind that, right? Like, if it was not really something meaningful, and you were spending too much time with people who don't necessarily like deserve that. Until the end of 2026, Neptune will be retrograde, and that will be the moment when you will see how a lot of friendships are actually falling out. Cancer, so for you, this transit is major, especially if you have early degrees of, Cancer, Aries, and Capricorns with Libras. On your ascendant, on your MC, on your fourth house, on your descendant. But the Neptune retrograde, Neptune in general, as it was going through the Aries sign, it could have give you like more opportunities to advance in your career if it has to do anything with creativity, movies, and some sort of acting, songwriting, like anywhere where you're creating some sort of universes, anywhere where you're creating any type of, like your illusion on something in a positive, constructive way. But at the same time, it could have brought more illusions and more almost like situationships, and some not necessarily like true situations around your work. Like, somebody could have been lying to you, somebody could have promised you like more money than you ever expected to, and then they like got you into this work, but then turns out it's not really the terms and conditions that they promised to do, and some sort of like false hopes and false expectations when it comes to your career. So when Neptune will be retrograde starting anywhere around now and until the end of the year, there will be a moment for you when you will be almost able to escape of this prison of illusion, and for a second to realize what has been really happening to you, where this illusion has been spreading through your career, and where do you need to cut it out, and either start fresh and go back and fix it, but realize that, yeah, like, some things were not necessarily true, some things were not necessarily correct when it comes to your career, when it comes to your reputation, especially if people were spreading some sort of lies around your reputation, around what type of professional person you are. This is definitely the time for you to use that energy and kind of like say, hey, like, this is not what you claim to be. I'm not that person, and almost like clear up your reputation at work and with the people who you really respect and you looking up to. Leos, since Neptune was in Aries from the beginning of the year, you might have seen more ideas and ideologies around overall philosophy and God and religion, and how you're really supposed to live this life and what type of values to rely on. And maybe during this time you got some sort of like fake coaches, fake teachers, fake spiritual people you look up to, and maybe like it could have been the moments when you actually went super crazy about your spirituality. Maybe you went from atheist to being in some sort of cult. Maybe you joined some sort of cult. Maybe something has really like influenced you big way into almost like giving up any control of the real world and submitting to something bigger and more powerful, quote unquote. but it's also a lot of overall delusion and self-lying to yourself around your spiritual development and what is, what are the things that you do in the real world, what are the things that you do in a spiritual world. So for some of you, it could also have been troubles when you are traveling abroad, when you're getting sort of documents abroad. But when Neptune is going retrograde from anywhere around now until, like mid-December, that will really be the moment when you will be able to escape that prison of illusions and see what is actually going on. That would be the moments when almost like somebody is giving you antidote to this deception, and it's your time for the 5 months. Go ahead, do something, fix things, become a little bit more clear and more realistic with yourself, what you do around all of these topics that I mentioned. Because once Neptune will go direct again in the end of December, this is when this antidote will stop working on you, and you will get again very delusional, very deceptive to some sort of information, especially when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to religions even. And it's almost like, again, you're very likely to join some sort of cult that will take advantage of you. Virgos, so when Neptune went into Aries, you would have felt like you have some sort of more intuition for some sort of danger. You could have felt like world is a little bit more dangerous place, and you feel it on some sort of next level. It's not just like your senses, it's not just your intuition, but something is telling you that there is some sort of danger that you should be aware of. And yeah, like something negative is just like about to happen, and maybe you had some sort of like self-destructive thoughts because of some sort of psychological patterns that you were following, psychological patterns that you were just like feeling in a sense. But at the same time, it could have been the moments when you truly had your awakening when it comes to some sort of mysticism, esoterics, and just like knowledge that is very secret from people. Maybe it's like dark magic. Maybe you joined some sort of, hermetic orders and like secret societies and were really interested in that. But when Neptune will go retrograde from anywhere from around now until the end of 2026, basically, this is going to be the time when you will almost be able to escape this prison of delusion, will almost be able to escape this prison of deceptiveness when it comes to all these feelings of danger and being in critical situations, and almost like maybe actually you were attracted to ideas like of death in general. You were thinking about it, you had to face it, and you will realize like, okay, what's true, what's not true, where I really have to think about it, where I have to completely give up all of these thoughts and all of these like projections that you are making around any of these topics that I've mentioned. Think about it, it's like an antidote that's working on you for the next 5 months, where you will be able to become, quote unquote, sober again and do the right decisions. While when at the end of 2026, when Neptune will go direct again, it's going to again start affecting you in that way. Libras, this Neptune transit and Neptune retrograde is really all about your closest people to you. It's about your partners, it's about your best friends, it's about your clients. But because Neptune is really bringing a lot of illusion, because Neptune is really bringing a lot of uncertainty, it could have been the time when you don't really know who are your friends and who are your enemies. It's the time when you're treating your enemies like your friends and you're treating your friends like your enemies, and you just like don't know the difference. You don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're following, you don't know like what is happening and how to get rid of that. At the same time, it could have been overall like not the easiest time when it comes to your relationship and partnerships, because not only you can idolize and romanticize people around you, but also it's the time when you could have been like together with some sort of people, you have some sort of relationships, you have some sort of connections, but who you are exactly to each other, it's really hard to say, it's really hard to mention, it's really hard to figure out, because Neptune is bringing so much illusion and deceptions here. So same thing could be here about any marriages. Maybe you're marrying someone, maybe you have married someone who is like, you're not 100% sure if this marriage is real, you're not 100% sure if you completely believe in this in this connection with this person. But in a very good sense, you could be attracting very creative partners, you could be attracting very people who are into arts, who have like really big point of view and really deep thoughts. But when Neptune will go retrograde from anywhere around now until the end of December, it will be the moment when you'll be almost like escaping this illusion and deceptions for 5 months to really see what type of mess you've created, what type of mess you've been misled by, what type of situations that you were just like almost like not acting properly. and not acting sober, quote unquote. And this will be a sober time. This will be the time when you'll say, hey, I should stop doing A, B, C, D, E. And when Neptune will go direct again at the end of the year, that will be the moments when you will have to say, you know what? Yes, I have to be more real this time, here, here, and here. Scorpio rising. So if you have been really struggling with some sort of health issues that you don't really know like what is happening, it's like some days you're waking up and you don't know why you're feeling so low, you don't know if it's your cortisol, if you don't know if you're ferritin, you don't know what it is. Like this is what Neptune and sixth house can really bring you here. And it's not just about it like it's something necessarily happening, it's just your deception and your illusion around your physical being and feelings that you have. It could have been overall some sort of fears of, like, oh my God, something is going to happen to my health. Something is going to happen to my body. Something is going to happen with the, like the disease that I might potentially have. Like it's a lot of delusion and fears and being like a victim to some sort of situations that you cannot control, because also Neptune is going through the sixth house could affect your job, could affect your, especially if you are employed, if you have like a boss and you like serving someone as a, like you're being paid to serve and to do something. That might also bring a lot of intrigues and gossips and lies and just like overall situations that like you don't know what's happening, you don't know what is happening. I don't know why this person is suddenly mad at me at work, I don't know why this person is suddenly asking not to work with me anymore, like those type of situations. And when the Neptune will go retrograde, it's almost like going to give you a little bit of escape plan from all this delusion and deceptive informations that you've been submitted to. So that will be really like the 5 months when you can see where you have been misled and where you were lied to and where you were really a little bit too overly dramatic with the things that with the things that you were connected to, with the things that you were influenced by, with the things that have been happening with you overall. So this is definitely the time to be a little bit more realistic, and you will be more realistic. You will be, again, like you will be let go of this prison of illusion when it comes to your health, when it comes to your physical well-being, your daily routines. Maybe you were a little bit messy with your routines, and there will be the time when you will get back to it and will be able to actually follow through and keep some sort of consistent schedule. But yeah, use this time to really analyze your past, like your 2026 in general, and where you were extremely delusional and not realistic with yourself. Sagittarius. So as the Neptune went into Aries, it really affected your desire to be more creative, your desire to create something into the world, and maybe you had more creative projects coming into your life overall. Think about like something that you treat as your project, something that you gave birth to, right? Like think about like musical album, like it's Madonna Day, so new album is kind of like a new child here. So maybe you've been more overall influence to enjoy art, overall influence to enjoy some sort of creative process and movies and theaters, and almost like be connected to this like divine spirit of creativity. But at the same time, because Neptune is all about illusions and delusions, it could have brought you more desire to be under influence of alcohol, under influence of other things, and also some intrigues and lies, especially when it comes to your romantic lives, especially when it comes to like almost like one night stands and like romantic relationships that are not necessarily here to last. Maybe there was like some sort of people who, I don't know, might have robbed you, might have steal something from you, might have like used something against you. And if you have any kids, that could also be in the time when you just like don't know what's happening with your kids. Maybe you were actually adopting kids, you like something, there was some sort of like situations that you're not clear about. And when Neptune is going to go retrograde, it's almost going to give you a quick resolution and quick freedom from this deception and illusion that is going to allow you to essentially look at things at the more realistic perspective. It's almost like you're going to be a little bit more sober for the next 5 months, and you'll be like, okay, this what was the problem. This was something that I was not like supposed to do. There was something where it's been a mess and I should have not done this, right? So then when by the end of the year, Neptune is going to go direct again, you will be able to say, hey, now I've learned that was the problem. So I probably should leave this behind and not do the same mistakes. Capricorn, so this period that started like literally from the beginning of 2026 when Neptune was in Aries, you might have had more troubles and deceptions and illusions when it comes to your home, your family. It could have been the time when your family as like whole system had more secrets, and it's almost like you did some sort of crime with your family together, and then you had to keep it away. Or maybe there were some situations that you don't know like what was happening. Maybe some sort of secret enemies have been activated and targeting your family, and you don't know like why has you been like dealing with that. It might have been also some sort of problems, like in deceptions, illusions, and not necessarily seeing the obstacles that you had with some sort of real estate, with purchasing home, purchasing your first apartment or not first apartment, and overall situations where you feel like really lost in all this like ancestral lineage. And maybe you found out that somebody is been like, I don't know, you had like a sister that you didn't know that existed, or you're about to find out that you had like some more relatives that you thought you had. But it's also a moment of like not necessarily trusting anyone who you bring home. So it's better like not to bring home anyone actually during this time, because somebody could like steal something from you, somebody could do some sort of like ritual on your house that's going to attract negative energy. But when Neptune is going to go retrograde anywhere around now, and is going to be in retrograde until the end of um 2026, this is going to be like a quick resolution and escape from this prison of illusion and this like muddy situation where you don't know what is happening, where you don't know what's affecting you, your family, your house, and the place that you live in. And it's really going to give you like this moment of like, okay, here you can really be like, you can really be like realistic with yourself for once. You can really use this energy to look back at and the whole 2026 and tell yourself what you've been doing right, what you've been doing wrong, and where you have been really submitted to some sort of deception that led you to this outcome. Aquarius, so during this Neptune in Aries transit, you will probably had a little bit more confusion and illusion and deception when it comes to your acquaintances. Maybe you got connected to some sort of people and you wanted to do some sort of projects together, or just like talk and see like what's happening. But like these people are so like live in a fog or like in a different universe that you like were not able to talk to them in general. Just like some sort of like illusional connections that you had with these people. And overall, for the next like couple years, you better be like a little bit more, a little bit more careful who you're friends with and who you talk to and what type of information you give into people. But because Neptune here is also affecting your neighbors, your roommates, your relatives, your brothers and sisters, you could also have some sort of intrigues and lies and just like gossips around that as well. Maybe somebody was spreading lies around your siblings. But it could be a really good time for you to express yourself creatively and study something creative and study art and perform art. But when Neptune is going to go retrograde anywhere around now and until the end of 2026, this is really a time for you to look at yourself with realistic perceptions and understand where you have been a little bit too delusional and deceptive to some sort of miscommunications. And again, some people that you couldn't really trust, some people that you couldn't really, believe. And the thing is, Neptune retrograde is going to give you some sort of antidote to this illusion, antidote to this deceptiveness. It's almost like you're going to get sober for 5 months and you'll be able to see all the mess that you've done when it comes to your studies, communications, papers, documents. If you were having some sort of, again, like troubles filing some sort of paperwork, it was really messy. I don't know, your documents disappeared somewhere and you didn't know like where to expect the news from. Neptune retrograde could really bring a little bit of, like moment of relief here and give a little bit more clarity. Pisces, this is the most important transit, and it's most important to you because you as a Pisces rising, you are ruled by Neptune. That means the planet that rules your entire chart, the planet that rules your entire life is going retrograde. So this is going to be a moment of like a mass, I don't want to say mass hysteria, but the massive moments of like, wake up, you got to do something. Something has been happening in your life. You cannot let this slip through. You cannot let this affect you anymore. Like you have to change something so massive around your life. And the thing is, like, depending on your rising sign, right? People face different situations. For example, Gemini, Virgo rising, Libra rising, Taurus rising, they are ruled by fast planets, right? Also Aries rising, they ruled by like Mars, Mercury, Venus. Those planets go retrograde much more frequently, especially Mercury. We have Mercury retrograde right now. So they have a lot of those things where they need to figure something out, change something out here and there, here and there, here and there, and it's happening frequently. Pisces, Aquarius, Scorpios, I mean, Capricorns too, like they face those things less frequently than other signs. But when they do them, because those planets are so massive, these planets have like such a big energy and such a big influence onto our lives, it's something that you cannot ignore. It's something that is really like affecting you big time. And for a lot of you, when Neptune went into the Aries, it has been affecting your, maybe you've been having a better intuition when it comes to your finances, some sort of like you knew like, oh, what is gonna, you know, where your next money is going to come from. Like, should you invest in this project? Should you buy this thing? Should you start working here? You almost have this like a really good sense of what will be profitable for you. Maybe if you start making money from finances, from creative projects like movies, cinemas, theater, acting, music, like whatever it is, dancing, whatever is connected to creativity. If you've been making money off of that, that could have been definitely a positive effect of this transit. But sometimes Neptune in the second house is really giving some sort of like not clear situation, like what is happening with your money, not clear situation where your next paycheck is coming from, or you like doing some sort of work but it's not bringing you money and you don't know why is it happening. Maybe you've been lied to about some money, maybe you've been affected around money and just like, not being clear. So when Neptune is going to go retrograde, not only is going to bring a little bit more clarity and like less delusion and deception and illusions to your life, it's also going to give you a little bit of relief to go back and fix something. You're going to see where was the problems that were affecting you. You're going to see what was the situations that where you had to like, okay, let's wake up, let's do something, let's fix something. You would realize that something that you did that was so delusional around your money, that was the problem. That was something that you should have not done, and now you're going to go and fix it for the next 5 months. And then at the end of 2026, when Neptune is going to go direct again, you better be done with this. You better be already like realistic and know what you have done wrong and what type of, deceptions you have followed that led you to being not really consistent with your finances.